Hello guys, welcome to a new video. This time we are going to see if Lara is a good friend. During the saga she had several friends. The first friend to appear was Yves. He is also a French archaeologist who appears in Tomb Raider 4. The stories at the time the game came out were not very developed, but we could see that Lara and John were good friends. She seems happy to be reunited with him. She gets upset and worried when she finds out that Von Croy kidnapped him and later she saves him. He was supposed to appear in the next two games, but a real-life archaeologist complained about the similarities to him. So in Tomb Raider Chronicles they had to replace him with another new character, and in Angel of the Darkness he was replaced by Von Croy. It's a shame they had to remove the character. We have to keep in mind that being friends with Lara is always dangerous. I think in terms of friendship, Lara wasn't a bad friend to him. Then on Tomb Raider Legend we have Amanda, Alistair and Zip. Let's start with Amanda. The two were college friends. During an expedition they encounter an unknown identity that starts killing everyone who was a part of the expedition. Lara and Amanda, while running away from the creature, find a stone which they would later discover that allowed its owner to control the creature. The place starts to collapse and Amanda gets trapped in the wreckage, and the place also starts to be filled with water. Lara tries to help her but she can't and has to leave as she starts to run out of oxygen. Because of this, Lara thinks Amanda is dead. A few years later the two meet again. Lara is happy to see Amanda alive, but she's not happy to see Lara. She is upset with Lara for not coming back to save her. Lara says she didn't do it because she left the place like it was a memorial. In my opinion, Lara failed here. I agree with Amanda that she should have excavated the site at least to recover her friend's body, so they could do a proper funeral for her friends and family. From this moment on, the two become enemies, although Lara sometimes tries to be friendly. The two are chasing the same artifact. Amanda even breaks into Lara's house, but for some reason she doesn't hurt Alistair and Zip. At the end of Tomb Raider Legend, Lara kills Amanda's boyfriend and apologizes, but shows no regrets. After that, the two fight.
Amanda, see you.
I'm sorry, Amanda. Truly.
What are you doing? Stay away from there!
It's what I came for. You don't need that. We can both do this.
It only works once, and I'm going to be the one!
Lara is quite aggressive with Amanda because she was the one who made her mother disappear indirectly when she was a child. And as you could see, Lara left Amanda behind, alone and unconscious. In Tomb Raider Underworld, their relationship and motivations remain the same. In one part, Amanda orders Doppelganger to blow up Lara's house. Towards the end of the game, Amanda realizes that she was being manipulated by Natla, and she later ends up saving Lara. In order to get away from Helheim, Lara decides to trust Amanda, who got surprised by that and seems seriously thinking about leaving her behind, but she doesn't. As Amanda is extremely bipolar, upon arriving in Nepal, she tries once again to fight Lara, who convinces her to not do it and leave. Their relationship ends up like this, not very well. So I say that Lara was a bad friend to Amanda, but Amanda also has a horrible personality that didn't help. Their rivalry makes the story interesting, but the reasons of each one of them are quite silly. Now back to the other two friends. Alistair seems to help Lara on a more traditional way by researching through books, articles and other stuff like that, while Zip helps her in a more modern way through technologies. The three form a team that works well together and cares about each other. Things change completely in Tomb Raider Underworld. They don't talk as much as they used to, and they seem to be tired of Lara's obsession. Alistair, halfway through the game, dies. Lara seems to be more upset than sad about what happened and quickly recovers. So much that even Zip gets mad at her, but she doesn't care. In one of the DLCs, he also gets upset that Lara lets her friend's killer go away. In this case, Lara was also a very bad friend by showing herself indifferent to her friend's death and making Zip continue to help her. Zip also appears in one of the classic games, which is Tomb Raider Chronicles or Tomb Raider 5, but back then they weren't really friends. They were more like partners because they had goals that aligned with each other. In the Survivor trilogy, you have Sam and Jonas. I'm not going to talk about the others because I don't think they have enough interactions to justify being considered as like best friends. So let's start with Sam, that appears in Tomb Raider 2013 and then in the comics. This video is just about friends who appear in games, but as her story continues in the comics, I will have to talk a bit about them. Just like Amanda, Sam was Lara's best friend in college and was also interested in myths, and is also a filmmaker. The two embark on an expedition to find Yamatai along with a crew. Things go wrong during a storm. They were shipwrecked on the island that they were looking for, and Sam is kidnapped by members of a cult that pay homage to Himiko, the sun goddesses. The name of that group was Solari. The group aims to pass Himiko's soul to Sam's body, as she was currently trapped in a decaying body. Through a test, they discover that Sam is the chosen one by Himiko, and in the end, they try to complete a ritual to transfer Himiko's soul. Through the game, Lara tries to save Sam several times, succeeding a few times. In the end, Lara manages to interrupt the ritual and get out of the island with her friend. During the game, we can see in different parts how the two are great friends and trust each other. Sam is always on Lara's side and they both care a lot about each other. After what happened in Yamatai, the relationship between Sam and Lara started to get worse little by little, because Sam started to get really mad at Lara and very aggressive with everyone and everything. But she was actually slowly becoming Himiko, who had succeeded in transferring her soul. Before Rise of the Tomb Raider, Sam is arrested for attacking a person. Technically, Lara went on a new adventure with Jonas, who seems to be Sam's replacement, and left her friend in prison. It's only after the adventure in Rise that Lara discovers that her friend was being possessed and decides to save her with the help of Jonas. After managing to extract Himiko from Sam's body through an artifact called the Way Mirror, Lara takes her to the hospital but can't visit her afterwards because Sam's mother hates her and won't let her see Sam. And then Lara says it's for the best to be that way, as Sam would be in danger if she stay near her. I think at first Lara was a good friend, but then she couldn't deal with her friend's personality change and left her behind in jail, replaced her with Jonas, and took a long time to find out that she was being possessed by Himiko. Lara failed Sam and was a bad friend. At least she managed to save her. And finally we have Jonas in Tomb Raider 2013. The two got along well, but they didn't seem to be best friends like Lara with Sam. In the next two games, Lara and Jonas become best friends simply because they decided to ruin Sam's story and Lara needed a new best friend. Jonas is a cook. Why does he accompany Lara on her adventures? It is a good question. He doesn't have a motive or a purpose like the previous characters. He's just there because he is. If they took him out of the story, he wouldn't make much difference. He seems to be there to kinda balance Lara emotionally. In this case, I would also say that Lara is a bad friend. She takes Jonas with her to dangerous adventures that he doesn't take any advantage of, that he is kidnapped, that he almost dies, that she annoys him. Some people think Jonas does everything for Lara because he has a crush on her, and if he really has, it is very subtle. Alex on Tomb Raider 2013 was more obvious, for example. At least in the very end of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Jonas got a kind of a girlfriend. After reviewing all Lara's best friends, I think I can say that overall Lara is not a very good friend, but sometimes she's a good friend only a few times. Most of the time she's a bad friend, sorry. Even if I love Lara, we have to be honest. And yeah, being friends with Lara is complicated, and yeah, I didn't include Werner von Croy or Roth because they were more like mentors than friends, and I already have a video about that too. And you, what do you think about this subject? Do you think she was a good friend? Do you think she was a bad friend? Leave your opinion in the comments. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Until next time, bye bye!